Richfield Coliseum outside Cleveland will be jumping shortly. There'll be a crowd of 20,000 or maybe a little more than that as the Cavaliers take on the world champion Bulls in Game 4 of the Eastern Conference Finals. Hello, everyone. Bob Costas in New York, along with Quinn Buckner. In the next segment, we'll be joined by the insiders Peter Vesey and Bob Ferry. In each of the last two games of this series, first Cleveland and Chicago in Game 2, then the Bulls in Cleveland in Game 3, the visitors have come out right out of the chute and taken the crowd and the home team out of it in the first quarter.
Well, they've done that quite well. What has to happen for Cleveland is they must keep the crowd in the game. And the reason you want to do that is because you want to try to play Chicago, have them playing from behind. If you do that, Michael Jordan has got to continue to score and hope that there's a lapse in his scoring ability, and then the rest of his teammates pick it up. If they don't do that, then I think Cleveland is in for a long afternoon.
Well, the Bulls took their 2-1 lead by winning Game 3, as we said, at Richfield. Motivation was not a problem for Chicago, which had been thoroughly beaten at home in Game 2.
We were embarrassed. And I think embarrassed to a champion means that you get down and you knuckle down and you come back with a renewed effort.
Michael Jordan led the Bulls' charge in Game 3. He had been under the weather in the second game, but a couple days later he came back to light up the Cavs for 17 first-quarter points. His early scoring binge made the difference.
He came down early, and, Michael was phenomenal, hitting shot after shot, and, we were trying to make adjustments to slow him down. We just didn't do the job.
Jordan always gives Cleveland fits. In 13 playoff games against the Cavs, he's averaging 39.5 points, and his teammates are more than happy when Jordan assumes command.
Mike is not taking over the game. I mean, he's one of those players who can dominate a game, and if he can draw a double team and triple team, I mean, it's better for our team because now we're able to find guys open, and I think Marcus did a good job of really finding guys spotted up open for the jump shot, so it's been great for us.
I wouldn't say we have the upper hand because there's too many games left, and Cavaliers has shown that, hey, they can come and blow us out too if we don't take them for granted. So we really feel that we got the momentum right now, but that can switch at any point, any time.
We told you about Jordan's nearly 40-point career playoff average against the Cavaliers. He also had a personal best single game in the regular season 2 years ago at Cleveland when he got 69. Now, a big concern for the Cavs today is the health of Mark Price. For more on that, we head out to Richfield to join our game announcers Marv Albert and Mike Fratello. Marvelous?
All right, Bob, yes, the major concern for the Cleveland Cavaliers is the condition of their most important player, point guard Mark Price, after spending the night at the Cleveland Clinic because of a stomach virus. Now, Mark did arrive here at the Coliseum in Richfield about an hour and a half ago. He missed practice yesterday, does not appear to be in wonderful shape physically today. I talked with him moments ago.
Well, I don't feel real good. I was in the hospital all last night and just trying to keep fluids in me intravenously, and we're just going to kind of see. There's no way I can really know how I'm going to feel till I get out on the court. Obviously, I'm not going to have as much energy as usual. I haven't eaten for a day and a half, so. We're going to see what happens.
Is it possible Michael Jordan passed on his viral infection to you getting so close to you the other day?
I don't know. He was sick a couple of days ago. If he did give it to me, I hope he covers me today. I'm going to cough on him and give it back to him.
Well, I did speak to Michael Jordan a few moments ago, and although he is still bothered by some congestion, he's very anxious for Game 4 to begin. In fact, as he did prior to Game 3, he was out shooting, taking his shots from different areas on the floor, and he just feels, again, he needs to come out strong so the team comes out strong. Now, as far as the Mark Price situation, if he should not be able to play significant minutes, then that time will go to rookie Terrell Brandon, who is the second youngest player in the NBA. Lenny Wilkins feels that Brandon breaks down defenses off the dribble, and against the Chicago Bulls defense is certainly something they need to do.
And the story on the other Chicago injury, Bill Cartwright, bothered by a strained lower back, did miss practice yesterday, but says he's all right, will be in the starting lineup this afternoon. Bob?
All right, Marvin, Mike, check with you later. Over in the Western Conference Finals, the Utah Jazz beat the Portland Trail Blazers yesterday, 121-112, and thus evened that series at 2. It was a game that featured many whistles, with the two teams going to the foul line 94 times. Portland players were called for 5 technical fouls, including 2 on Clyde Drexler. The second came with 90 seconds left in the game after Drexler hit a three-pointer. He complained vehemently that he was tripped. No foul was called. He got the heave-ho after the second technical. His coach, though, wasn't about to be dragged into any ref bashing.
don't really want to comment. I think that's something that I will address with the team. I don't feel like I should have to address it over the air. It's going to be addressed enough without me saying. You don't need a quote from me. And I would much rather give the Jazz credit. I think they beat us. You know, nothing else beat us. They beat us.
You don't feel like things are going the same on both ends, and I think sometimes you have a right to get upset. I don't think that's fair. I think we got to control our emotions, but sometimes it can be justified.
Calls going one way?
It was going very strong to one way.
They definitely got a little frustrated. They probably had reason to, because there were a lot of calls that were kind of iffy.
You seen the game, you tell me. I have no comments about referees. I forfeit any comments about referees.
I think that's wise on Porter's part. Adelman struck exactly the right tone. Whether it's justified or not, the Trailblazers have a bit of a reputation among fans and around the league as whiners, and the last thing you want to do is fuel that reputation.
Well, I think that's absolutely the case, and I think in addition to that, sometimes officials know that teams or individuals have a tendency to make a comment about calls that they don't agree with, and if you do that so often, every now and then they start not paying you attention, or if you catch an official on a bad day, as they can have, they'll pay too much attention, too many technicals. But if Portland wants to be the team that's going to win the NBA championship, you got to put that stuff out of your mind. You can't let it affect your game.
And they will not have the home court advantage. If they get past Utah, they won't have home court against Chicago. They would against the Cavs, but they won't against Chicago. So they'll have to break through on the road, officials or not.
Well, that's absolutely the case. When you're going for championships, you don't have time to worry about who officiates the game.
All right, Game 5 in that series is tomorrow night at 9 Eastern Time here on NBC. Up next, we'll let the insiders play general manager as they select players for the 1992 draft. That's when NBA Showtime continues right after this. Insiders are here. The NBA draft takes place in Portland this year on June 24th. The draft lottery last week determined the order of selection. So now let's return to a fine idea we started last year, and that is conducting our own insiders draft. This was a personal favorite of Pat Riley, especially when the luck of the draw had him selecting in the Knicks spot. I think that was pretty much what pushed him over the edge and back into coaching.
And I thought it was something I said.
But since none of these guys have any discernible career options, we know that they'll stay here regardless of how lousy this turns out. All right, I'll start. We'll go around the horn, selections 1 through 12 in this mock draft, and we begin with the Orlando Magic, and this is in the category of the foregone conclusion. Everyone knows they're taking O'Neal, and who am I to disagree? So O'Neal with choice number 1.
It's an imposter.
Well, I just told the guys in the control room I'd take O'Neal. This shows how knowledgeable our staff is.
He's too short.
All right, Shaquille O'Neal, not Ryan O'Neal, with choice number 1. On to the Charlotte Hornets.
Well, the Charlotte Hornets, are in an exciting position. They could pick a local hero down there as far as Duke University in Christian Laettner. But I think if I'm picking for them, I got to take Alonzo Mourning. They need help in the center badly. Mike Kaminsky's back is getting them a lot of trouble. Mourning's a shot blocker. He's a perfect pick for them right now.
Okay. Minnesota.
All right, first of all, I'd like to say that Jack McCloskey, it's going to be official next week. He will be the VP of basketball operations for Minnesota. I believe Jack will go for Christian Laettner because they need size. I don't think the team is too ecstatic about who they have up there now. They'll probably try and move Luke Longley to probably the Warriors because he's such a good passer. He'd fit right in there, and Don Nelson needed him before. I'm going to go for the sure thing. I think it's Jimmy Jackson. My scouts tell me that he's going to be another Oscar Robertson. Somebody else said he might be a Dennis Hobson. if he's somewhere in between, he's my man.
All right, Shaquille O'Neal, Alonzo Mourning, and Jimmy Jackson from Ohio State are gone. Up comes the Dallas Mavericks, so Christian Laettner's still there.
Well, Christian Laettner is somebody you got to look at because the guy at 6'11" can put the ball on the floor. He can stick it from outside, and he knows how to win. You know, obviously having won at Duke, he understands that. They need a guy that can help them pull this thing back together. They'll take Christian Laettner.
All right, if I'm Bernie Bickerstaff with the Denver Nuggets, I'm perhaps thinking of trading this number 5 pick along with another first-round pick, the 13th, putting them together and trading up and maybe getting someone like Christian Laettner. But since we can't trade in this mock draft, I know the best player still on the board is Harold Miner, but I don't need help at off guard. I've got Macon and Lichty and Jackson, all of whom were number 1 picks in the past. They're off guards. I'm not going to take Miner. I got to go in a different direction. I've got to think maybe of Todd Day at Arkansas or Adam Keefe at Stanford. And Adam Keefe is described as a Dan Issel type. He's my new coach. I take Adam Keefe. Ferry, Washington Bullets.
I got the Bullets again. They'll be glad to hear that. But the Bullets really need a big, powerful center or a big, powerful rebounder, somebody that can help Purvis Ellison. And there's really nobody around like that. So they're going to have to go big. And I think they'll take I would take Tom Googly out at 6'9". He led the ACC in rebounder. He's a very good all-around player. Not exactly what the Bullets need, but they'd have to settle on him.
From North Carolina State. On to the Sacramento Kings.
And I'm glad he did, because I like Walt Williams definitely for this team. They need a point guard with some size. People say that Walt Williams is not athletic. Magic Johnson wasn't athletic either. I'll take the poor man's Magic Johnson.
All right, back to Quinn Buckner, Milwaukee Bucks.
The Milwaukee Bucks are probably going to take somebody again. They were a non-athletic team. They need to get that back. One of the best kids still there, I think, is Todd Day. At about 6'8", 6'9", he can defend, run the court. He can really shoot the ball with range, and I think he gives them at that point, that pick, he's very good for them.
All right, Todd Day from Arkansas. That brings us to the Philadelphia 76ers. I'll pick for them. Now, Harold Miner might not be, by the blueprint, exactly the type of player they're looking for. But Harold Miner is definitely the best player left on the board. Some people would slot him at 4th or 5th. Here he is still sitting there at 9th. I've got to take Harold Miner from USC, and maybe I'm thinking about trading a Hersey Hawkins. We know they're talking about the possibility of trading a Charles Barkley. Who knows how it all comes out, but you've got to take a talent like Miner and let the chips fall where they may after that. Pick number 10, the Atlanta Hawks, Bob Ferry.
Well, the Atlanta Hawks, they need a shot blocker. They need a more athletic center-type player. Although he's small at 6'8", I think LaFonso Ellis, a guy that can run the court, a very good athlete, a good inside player, would give them some more quickness and another big guy.
LaFonso Ellis from Notre Dame. Houston Rockets in slot number 11.
I can see why you guys have bad teams, but I'm going to move it. Akeem is definitely going to be traded. 99% he's going to be traded. The Lakers are going to offer Divac and probably James Worthy. But if they don't get Worthy, if his knees are gone, you need a small forward. I'm glad Tracy Murray's available. He's a shooter, kind of like Reggie Miller. At that same stage.
Tracy Murray from UCLA. And now, I'm happy to say, the last selection, the Miami Heat.
Miami Heat have a good team. They've got a team, and they came in last year with Steve Smith, a guy that starts passing the ball around. That's contagious. Now you can get a kid that can come in about 6'5", 6'6", really active, knows how to win. Brian Stith from Virginia is the guy I think they'll take there. He fits in perfectly.
So there you have it, an always much anticipated and rewarding annual segment on the program. I wonder if as many people will be keeping the tape of this as of Carson's show on Friday night.
Yeah, sure.
Coming up next, we'll talk about the difficulty of repeating as champions in the NBA as we're joined live by Chuck Daly and Julius Erving. I feel a sense of pride that's difficult to communicate to you folks. NBA Showtime continues right after these messages. Michael Jordan in the locker room after the championship victory over the Lakers in Game 5 last year at the Forum, and of course the burden of repeating has rested on Michael's shoulders this year. The Bulls romped through the playoffs last year, losing only 2 games. This year, the road has been much tougher. 3 of the 4 losses to this point came in that tough series that went 7 against the Knicks. A couple of gentlemen who know about the difficulty of repeating will join us momentarily. The Pistons won the title in 1989, losing only 2 games along the way and sweeping the Lakers in the finals. Then things got more difficult the following year for Chuck Daly as they were taken to the limit by the Bulls in the Eastern Conference Finals and overall lost 5 games in the playoffs before finally winning it all in Portland. In 1984, Julius Erving and the 76ers were the defending NBA champions when they met the lightly regarded Nets in the first round of the playoffs. The Nets surprised them by winning a decisive Game 5 in Philadelphia and knocking them out. And joining us live now are Chuck Daly, who's in Portland, and Julius Erving, who will join us from Philadelphia. Chuck, do you agree with the general notion that repeating is more difficult than winning the first time?
No question about it, Bob. When you start having to play many more games, the physical part of it, the physical mental part, the combination is so difficult. You just can't believe how difficult. I used to sit there and wonder if this was the same team I had during the regular season.
You know, you beat Portland in 5 for that second championship, but a lot of those games were tough. In fact, they almost won both games in Detroit at the beginning of the series.
Had it not been for Bill Laimbeer, in the second game, he made some incredible three-point shots to get us that win, and Isaiah and Joe, no one else could even score. Then he comes out here, and I did a TV show at the time. The night before the game, he sat and looked in the camera and said, we're going to win 2 of the 3 out here. I thought, just win 1 so we can get back to Detroit.
Julius, you guys had finally broken through after some near misses, and you win the championship in 1983. Of course, you'd added Moses Malone. That was an important ingredient. Did you take the Nets too lightly in the playoffs the next year?
No, absolutely not. I think that, you know, the Nets were a young, hungry team, and the Sixers were a team that probably was the best team in the Eastern Conference from 1980 to 1984, certainly had the best record, and we had gone to the finals 3 different times, the conference finals 4 different times, and it was a beaten-up, tired team that averaged more than 30 years of age. And I think, you know, that was the Nets' championship bid right there, and they ended up knocking us out, and it was nothing that we should be ashamed of, because I've been on both sides of the fence. I remember when we first came to Philadelphia, and the 76ers of 1976 knocked out the defending champion Celtics, and it felt like we had won the world championship when we knocked off the defending champions. So it's a tough, tough situation to repeat. And I think the physical toll was the difference for the 76ers between 73 and 74.
Julius, one of the things that I found after we won in Boston in '84, if your stars aren't careful, there's so much going on in terms of your activity after you won it that you don't necessarily put in your same preparation that you put in the preseason before. Did you find that to be the case with your team and particularly yourself?
Well, I can't say that that was true. I think in my individual case, from 76 to 83, you know, individually, I was certainly on a mission to win an NBA championship. It was the only void that would have existed in my career if it hadn't happened. And after it happened, although there was a sense of relief, there was tremendous dedication to come back the next year and try and defend that championship. And at age 34, you know, I would credit more the physical difficulties with lack of dedication or concentration, and just say that, you know, that's the toll that I've seen, you know, players on every team go through, and the ones that are able to get the perfect blend of youthful vigor with veteran talent are the ones who have been able to repeat.
Chuck, let's go back to you in Portland. Everybody says that opponents are gunning for the defending champions. Nonetheless, the Bulls managed to win 67 games during the regular season, one of the highest figures in the history of the league. But now as they hit the playoffs, it seems much tougher. Do you have any insight into that as to why that's been the case for Chicago?
Well, I think they have to have played more games, and the physical qualities of New York. We had a reputation. We were no longer allowed to play them that way. New York came into the series without a reputation and got more physical. And when you have to start going to long series, the physical part, the banging, the falling down, that starts to take its toll. In our case, you got to remember, we won back-to-back, but the previous year we went to the 7th game. So 3 successive years we played up until almost the last game, and that takes its toll in discipline and focus and all of those kinds of things, and more importantly, the physical part. You really get banged up.
Chuck, what are you doing in Portland?
Well, as a matter of fact, Cotton just went by, and I wanted to get his autograph, and I hope to do that before I leave here. No, I'm here checking out the facilities. This is the hotel we're going to stay in when we come up here to play. I want to go look at the gyms and see exactly where we are. I don't want to leave any detail unturned with this particular group.
So for the Tournament of the Americas prior to the Olympics?
That's correct.
What about the situation now in Detroit? There's been some speculation. McCloskey's gone to Minnesota. Might you consider the front office spot with your old team, the Pistons?
No, I don't think I'll be involved in that at all. I'm not sure exactly what they're going to do, but as I stated at the press conference, my reign is over, and, you know, it's time to move on. There are certain periods. I think 9 years is a long time in one franchise. They get tired of looking at you. They get tired of hearing you, even broadcasters.
Well, I'll take that to heart and be out of here as soon as I can.
I've been reading about you in baseball.
Chuck, thanks a lot. Julius, good to talk to you. And next time we'll talk about the Nets' failure to repeat in '75 in the ABA when the Spirits of St. Louis got them.
That's a fact. It definitely happened.
Okay. Doc and Chuck, thanks very much. Up next, the Bulls try to take the next step toward repeating as they take on the Cavs in Game 4 from the Richfield Coliseum. Marv Albert and Mike Fratello will have the call right after these messages from your local station. We'll see you at halftime if we're all still here.
When measuring the Chicago Bulls' success, Michael Jordan is the one constant. But it's the play of Scottie Pippen that often separates victories from defeats. Last year, Pippen established his place among the NBA elite as he helped lead the Bulls to their first title. But it wasn't always that way for Scottie Pippen. Some said he didn't have a heart. Remember 2 years ago, the migraine? Others questioned his mental toughness. Could he handle the pressure? But Pippen answered all his doubters. And in this series, he has emerged as the Bulls' barometer. In Game 1, he elevated them to victory. In Game 2, Pippen struggled, and the Bulls lost. Game 3, he led the way for his teammates, propelling the Bulls to a smashing victory. So while Jordan ponders repeat, it's his partner's play that might make this dream come true.
Here's what we want. Give him the ball to the backcourt.
Jordan. Oh, a spectacular move by Michael Jordan.
This is the NBA on NBC. The 1992 NBA Playoffs. Today, Game 4 of the Eastern Conference Finals between the Chicago Bulls and the Cleveland Cavaliers.
A capacity crowd, better than 20,000 turning out at the Coliseum in Richfield. It is a pressure game for the Cavaliers, who do not want to go back to Chicago trailing 3-1. Hi, everybody. I'm Marv Albert, along with the czar of the telestrator, Mike Fratello. Now, on Saturday here at the Coliseum in Game 3, it was clearly Michael Jordan as the dominant player, but as the Bulls have witnessed over the past 2 years, if they are to succeed, even if Jordan explodes, they must get a solid game from Scottie Pippen. And Mike, that has certainly been the case in this series to this point.
Mark, it becomes quite obvious the further we go into the playoffs, Michael Jordan alone is not enough to bring the Chicago Bulls back to another championship. It takes Pippen's contributions as well. Let's go back, in fact, to the first series in the playoffs against Miami, where the Bulls swept 3-0. Pippen shooting 55%, averaging 24 points per game. In the second series against the New York Knicks, which was extended to all 7 games, Pippen on a bad ankle, shooting only 40%, scoring 16 points per game, and had a very difficult time in guarding Xavier McDaniel. In the current series, where the Bulls were up 2-1, Pippen back up, shooting 58%, averaging 26 points per game. So it becomes very obvious that 2 superstars contributing make it much easier.
And a great concern to the Cavaliers, the condition of their starting point guard, Mark Price, who, as we mentioned on Showtime, is bothered by a stomach virus. He told us he'll give it a shot, but does not feel particularly well. Now, on Saturday in Game 3, Chicago was able to succeed by successfully zeroing in on the 2 key ingredients for the Cavaliers, Price and center Brad Daugherty.
The Bulls defense focused in on those 2 players and were very, very good at it. For Mark Price, sure, he has a big concern with the virus, but in game number 3, another concern was the fact that Phil Jackson switched Michael Jordan onto him defensively. Jordan at 6 feet 6 inches tall, a bigger defender. Tough for Price to look in the hole, tough for him to get that jump shot up over the extended arm of Michael Jordan. As for Daugherty, the Bulls changed up on on them. They were physical. They came with different double teams from different areas on the floor, and the timing was much different. So the feeling here is that the two stars for each team, Pippen, Jordan, Daugherty, Price, both must contribute for their teams to win.
All right, and for more on these two clubs as we close in on game time, let's go over to Rashad.
All right, Marv, I have visited both locker rooms, and unlike the way it was before the last game, both locker rooms relatively quiet because they're both trying to search for that elusive consistency. Now, I talked to Michael Jordan about it. He says that we can talk about it, we can think about it all we want to. The only place we can find it is out on the court. Now, Marv, one other note. I have checked the parking lot. There are no signs of any marshmallows or any cream puffs.
Come on, as always, covering all aspects of the story. When we come back, Game 4 of the best-of-7 Eastern Conference Final. Once again, the decibel level here at the Richfield Coliseum is soaring as the lineups are introduced to the crowd. A look at the Bulls. They open with John Paxson and Michael Jordan at the guards. Horace Grant, who had a solid game on Saturday, along with Scottie Pippen on the front line. And Bill Cartwright, despite the strained lower back, opening at center. He says he's fine. There's Phil Jackson, one of only 9 men to win NBA titles as a player and as a head coach. For the Cavaliers, Mark Price will give it a go despite the stomach virus. Craig Ehlo at the other guard position. Larry Nance and Mike Sanders at the forwards, and Brad Daugherty, who was certainly held in check in Game 3, is the starting center. There's Lenny Wilkins, a Hall of Famer. He'll be one of Chuck Daly's assistants for the 1992 U.S. Olympic men's basketball team. The officials, Hugh Evans, Jess Kersey, and Ed F. Rush. We are set for game number 4. The Bulls with a 2-1 lead. Game 5 back in Chicago on Wednesday night, and we will have it for you here on NBC. It will be Grant and Nance going on the opening tip. And it's controlled by the Cavaliers in the white and blue. Price played by Paxson. Sanders, who did not score and had foul trouble in Game 3 on Saturday, being guarded by Pippen, finds Nance, but it's swatted away by Grant.
Well, just when it seems like they're going to get their inside game going quickly, and in particular with Larry Nance, who we talked yesterday about getting inside close to the basket. Change your mind and opinion there. Grant going up with the reject.
And Ehlo will throw in. Michael Jordan opening up on Craig Ehlo. Pippen got a piece of it. Pippen tried to save, but he stepped out, and the ball goes back to the Cavaliers.
The Cleveland Cavalier offense is so well spaced out, but the speed and quickness of the Chicago defense, they get in those passing lanes. Scottie Pippen, Michael Jordan, the best at it.
And the Cavaliers have 5 remaining on the shot clock. Sanders will throw in. Pippen playing off Sanders, trying to help out on the inbounds. Here's Nance going to the basket.
A very nice back cut that time by Larry Nance. Grant stepped out to help on Price coming off the screen. He left, got the layup.
And Grant got the roll. The crowd reacting because they felt that Jordan got away with the carry off that high dribble. Sanders looking for his shot. Cavaliers feel that although he is not noted for his offense, they want him to get into the flow. They do not want Sanders to come up with another blank. Here's Jordan with the pull-up. Rebound handled by Nance. Nance from deep. Larry Nance in recent years has improved his jump shot. Although, as he was telling us yesterday, the jump shot certainly needed improvement the other day off the steal. Ehlo. Jordan was bottled up, and the Cavaliers lead by the score of 6-2. In contrast to the way they opened up on Saturday, they were down 19-2. They were down 26-4. Here's Cartwright, yes, and the Cavs lead 6-4. Bill Cartwright playing with a brace to help the lower back injury. He played very well despite the back problems here on Saturday, going up against Brad Daugherty. Daugherty
getting that shot up a little bit quicker than normal, anticipating the Bulls were going to come, so he tried to get his first one up there before they got a chance to really chap him hard.
Cartwright wide open through an air ball. Grant could not save it. And the ball goes back to Cleveland.
The air ball by Bill Cartwright, and the hustle, the effort, and in the old days that may have been called a force out, but no longer. It's either a foul or possession the other way now.
3 minutes gone by in the first quarter. Pippen was giving Sanders the shot. There's Nance. So Larry Nance open in very active fashion, in contrast to what we saw here on Saturday. The foul committed by Sanders.
And you could sense yesterday that this veteran player just wanted to come out and have a big game this afternoon. He mentioned how many good looks he's had at the basket and that it just wasn't going down for him. He almost felt it sounded like he was letting his team down. He knew he had to step it up.
Nice delivery from Pippen, setting up Grant, and the game is tied. Check that, Cavaliers lead 8-6. Here's Nance. Jordan in the open floor. Michael Jordan with a gorgeous move. First the ball fake and then took it by himself. Game is tied at 8. And it looks like a foul is called on Paxson.
Michael Jordan, after receiving the outlet pass on the fly down that left lane, and just eludes the shot block attempt by Nance.
And a timeout has been called. 8:18 to go in this first quarter. Rare trades of the NBA that actually benefited both clubs. Changed 2 franchises. Larry Nance involved with the Kevin Johnson deal. After 7 years with Phoenix, Nance sent to the Cavaliers. We asked Nance how difficult was the trade to accept.
Very, very difficult for me. Just for the reason because I had played in Phoenix for 7 years, and I got traded here. Then when I got here, we started losing. So I also been the guy to come in here and turn this team right around, and that didn't happen that way. We started losing, and actually that point was the worst time in my career because I really took it hard that we was losing, and I was trying to do all I could, and I just wasn't playing well at the time. And then right after that, we turned it around and started playing better, and I went traded for the world. This is the place for me.
Yes, the Cavaliers certainly did turn it around after the trade, and you saw Mark Price hit on his first 3-point attempt. Perhaps a good sign for the Cavaliers, although Mark looks to be a bit on the lightheaded side, which is understandable, and that he spent the entire night at the Cleveland Clinic, bothered by a stomach virus. Told us before the game that he had not eaten any solid food in 24 hours. Jordan with the tough angle shot, and the tip is missed by Pippen. It'll be Cleveland ball. Cavaliers lead by the score of 11-8. 7.5 remaining first quarter.
Cleveland must keep a body on the glass and stop the Chicago Bulls from coming up with second and third shot opportunities. They're being out-rebounded about 4 a game on the offensive boards, the Cavaliers are.
Michael Jordan's looking for the steal. Stepped out.
Jordan, who loves to come from the blind side, behind the offensive player, either to block or come up with steals.
Shot clock at 6. Ehlo running to the double team, able to find Nance, and it's rebounded by Pippen. Paxson being played by Price. Cartwright trying to set up down low. Pippen with the opening, and Daugherty on the rebound. Cavaliers have a 3-on-2, but the pass from Ehlo was thrown behind him. Here's Pippen putting the move on Daugherty, and he's fouled.
And that was a very, very poor decision that time by Craig Ehlo. You had Mark Price trailing, who had just knocked out a three-pointer a short while ago. Go right back to Price, see if he's got a hot hand, see if he can knock out a three. Then Cleveland would have 3 players on the offensive boards in case Price should miss the shot. Instead, he tried to throw a pass through a defender. Bad move. As a result, Pippen shoots 2 now at the other end. Many times coaches tell teams, try to keep it simple. Don't make the difficult pass. Make the sure, simple pass. And I'm sure Lenny Wilkins will remind his players in the next timeout.
The Bulls have had their ups and downs at the free throw line. They have not been strong at the line throughout the season. They did have a 19 for 19 in game 1 of this series. Cavaliers with a 2-point lead. Ehlo giving it up to Nance. Shot clock down to 3, down to 2. Ehlo has to fire. Kept alive by Sanders. Cavaliers 13, the Bulls 9.
And Mike Sanders, who was in foul trouble the entire game in game 3, not a contributor at all to his team. Talking to him before the game, mentioned, I have to do something to help out, and maybe the offensive board is the answer. Well, there it was.
Grant and Sanders involved in the battle. Sanders looking for a tie-up, but he's called for a foul.
Sometimes when you can't get a clean look at the basket and you're not making your shots, you have to find other ways to score and help your team. And Mike Sanders on the offensive board certainly got it done that time for the Cavaliers. At the other end of the floor, shot up again. The big key here is keep Chicago off the offensive boards. Don't give them another opportunity, but the Cavaliers just have a very, very difficult time doing that because Chicago is so active and so quick getting to the boards.
Here's John Hot Rod Williams replacing Mike Sanders and Mark Price sitting down early, so Lenny Wilkins will use Price very carefully today. The rookie from Oregon, first-round draft pick Terrell Brandon, who played well here on Saturday, has checked in.
Price playing only a 6-minute stretch, goes to the bench. They'll try to replace some of the fluids that he's lost, and then obviously see how he feels before he goes back in.
So it is Daugherty up front now with Nance and Williams. Brandon and Ehlo in the backcourt. Again, that shot clock worked down. Only 3 seconds. Down to 2. Down to 1. Ehlo able to get it away. Won't count. Did not get it away in time.
Clearly way after the 24-second clock expired. And what Cleveland is doing right now is starting Brad Daugherty out high and going with Hot Rod Williams and Nance down low. The pass out with 1, but the ball still in the hand of the shooter as the clock shows 0.
Well, the Bulls opened up the game hitting 4 of 6 from the field. They've missed their last 4 shots. And the whistle away from the ball. Hugh Evans with the call. It's on Nance. That is his first.
Bill Cartwright, a little bit too much bulk for Nance down low. Catches him on his back, and now the delivery has to be at the right time, but the foul took place first.
And Michael Jordan has tied the game at 13. Jordan has hit 2 of 4. He has 4. 5 minutes to go in this first quarter. Brandon played by Paxson. Jordan over to help out on the double team and knocked it away from Williams.
You can see that Cleveland talked about stepping out away from the block and turning and facing the defense to make the passing easier. As soon as Williams caught that last pass, he backed it out a dribble, and sure enough, Michael Jordan was on the way to double team him. He tried to get a clean look, but the quick hands of Chicago forced the ball out of bounds.
And a 20-second timeout has been called. Well, this is a close first quarter, which is most unusual for the way this series has gone. Game 1, Chicago led 30-21. Cleveland, game 2, jumping out to that 30-14 lead, and Chicago clobbering Cleveland here on Saturday. It turns out the team leading after the first quarter has come up with the victory, and you can see the difference in terms of the shooting opening things up.
And that same first quarter statistic held true in the last series that Chicago played. Leader at the end of the first quarter wound up winning each game.
Brandon able to save it. Williams fires and hits. The shot clock was down to 1. So Hot Rod Williams from long range to give the Cavaliers a 15-13 lead. 4.5 remaining in this opening quarter. Pippen off the dribble and misfired.
That time, Cleveland's defense had to make 2 decisions. The first time was a pick and roll involving Jordan and a forward. That time, they stepped out and trapped it, made Jordan give the ball up. The next time, it was forward, which they switched.
Nice pass from Williams, setting up Daugherty, who was fouled by Grant.
When you have a forward pick and roll, the switch took place. Now, as a result, Nance winds up guarding Pippen. Pippen trying to drop it off along the baseline, throws it out of bounds.
Substitution, Scott Williams, second-year player from the University of North Carolina, who had a terrific game here on Saturday. Here's the boos from the crowd as he replaces Scottie Pippen. The boos because Scott Williams is a physical player, and he got involved with Craig Ehlo here in game number 3. Daugherty able to save it. Williams again from deep. So John Williams, who did not shoot well here on Saturday, has opened up by hitting 2 jump shots, both from long range. Cavaliers lead it by 5. Cartwright with some room. Yes.
Every time Michael Jordan comes off of Bill Cartwright in a pick-and-roll situation, Brad Daugherty is jumping out strong and making Jordan make quick decisions. The guy who's open every time for that 18-foot jumper is Bill Cartwright.
Well, they conferred on Daugherty, and he'll go to the line. And Brad Daugherty now providing problems for the Bulls. They were able to disrupt his rhythm on Saturday. The Bulls making adjustments, in particular with switching Michael Jordan to Mark Price, and Daugherty really could not get into it until later in the game.
Well, in Cleveland's version of their triangle offense, Daugherty normally lines up on one of the low post areas and calls to that initial post-up pass. What they've done today is they've put Nance on one block, the Cavaliers, Hot Rod Williams on the other block, and now Daugherty is up at the top of the circle, operating from a little different area so that he can face up, and if he receives it, can take Cartwright off the dribble from out there.
Well, Brad Daugherty now 2 of 4 from the line, and the Cavaliers lead 19-15. 3:35 remaining in this first quarter. Some pressure being shown by Cleveland. Scott Williams showing confidence. Ehlo calling out a play. Ehlo and Brandon in the backcourt. Daugherty, Nance, and Williams up front. Here's Nance. Yes. Nance has hit 4 of 7. He has 8 points. Cavaliers hearing it from the crowd as they now lead 21-15, and the Bulls want a timeout. Jordan right throughout. That is the usual matchup when the Cavs and the Bulls get together from time to time. He's heard some trash talk from Michael, a subject that I discussed with him.
Well, in Game 3 on Saturday, after he hit his 33rd point, he was running down the court, and I kind of came down along beside of him, and he was saying, "You can't guard me, you can't guard me," and I was just like, he's never said that before, so it kind of surprised me. I've always heard him talk, but never directly at me, so it kind of just surprised me.
Did you take that personally?
I told him, I said, you know, why are you starting to do this now? And actually, I didn't hear anything else from him the rest of the game.
Your in-depth questioning is amazing. Did you take it personally? Who else was he talking to out there?
Now, Mike, sometimes questions are asked just to try and get a rise out of the individual. Daugherty going down. Cavaliers now lead 21-17 off the bucket by Paxson. And Cartwright called for the foul. His second. Wet spot on the floor being taken care of.
The pass inside, finding the big man down low in the hole, and then the Bulls defense just a little bit late getting there on the rotation.
Upright Williams unable to hold on. Here comes Scottie Pippen going right at Brad Daugherty. Yes, and it counts. And Daugherty collects his second foul. So Scottie Pippen to the foul line.
Pippen with the great ability to take the ball from end line to end line, concentrate and convert even after the body contact by Brad Daugherty. He gets so many opportunities to finish three-point plays because of the athleticism and then the ability to concentrate.
And the crowd reacts as Danny Ferry, who has seen very limited action during the course of the playoffs, has checked in with 2.5 minutes to go in this first quarter. Brad Daugherty will sit down.
Well, I think Lenny Wilkins is doing this to see if he can get some type of consistent play defensively and on the glass out of Ferry. The entire season, although he may have struggled offensively, he's done a good defensive job.
Oh, Brandon able to penetrate. A beautiful acceleration move by Terrell Brandon. Cavaliers lead 23-20. They have hit 10 on 16 from the field, including their last 5 here in the first. Ferry gets inside for the box out.
With the excellent defensive positioning, and that's one of the things Lenny Wilkins can count on with Ferry, that he will be solid at the defensive end and not hurt this team.
Ehlo passing up on the shot. 8 on the 24. Rebounded by Scott Williams. And Pippen with a beautiful pass for Grant. Fought it up. He was stopped by Nance. The crowd here at the Coliseum reacting to this first quarter effort by the Cavaliers. It will be Cleveland ball with 11 on the 24.
The #1 shot blocking team in the NBA. When you get to the rim, they make you think twice, and then still Nance with the ability to recover. In fact, the best forward shot blocker in the NBA.
Cleveland, #1, followed by Sacramento, New Jersey, and San Antonio, which tells us that shot blocking is not necessarily a key to victory. Now, it doesn't hurt us. Nance once again hits from long range. Cavaliers 25, Bulls 20. B.J. Armstrong has come on for the first time. Michael Jordan able to answer. That's his third field goal. He has 6. And the Cavs lead by 3. One other area involving shot blocking, a downside to that statistic is that Brandon was able to beat the pressure. Open shot for Nance. Yes. 12 points for Nance. Mike, would you agree sometimes a club can get shot clock crazy and it can hurt other aspects of their game?
No question, Marv, that there are times coaches have to tell their great shot blockers, stay down a little bit. Don't be so anxious to go and get block shots, because what happens is it winds up leaving people alone, nobody boxing them out on the boards, and then teams get second and third shot attempts on the offensive glass.
Ehlo for 3. Cleveland 30. Chicago 22. 20 seconds to go in the first. Down to 10. Ehlo played Jordan very well. beautiful pass from Jordan. Scott Williams hanging in and able to hit just before the buzzer. So after one here at the Richfield Coliseum, sparked by that man, Larry Nance, doing it for the most part with the outside shot. 6 for 10, 12 points. Cavaliers hit 13 of 20 for 65% to open it up, and they lead the Bulls 30-24.
Coliseum. Now, seeing that this is the Indianapolis 500 weekend, it ties in perfectly with this game because we have stock car fanatics here. Brad Daugherty grew up, and his hero was Richard Petty, who rode in car number 43. That's the reason why Daugherty wears number 43. And Larry Nance also sponsors a stock car. It is a drag racer. Larry Nance very much into that. And the guy with the best name for all of this is Hot Rod Williams, but he's not into racing at all. His stepmother gave him that nickname because when he was a baby, he used to scoot around the floor and make engine noises. Well, Larry Nance has been making all the noises here in the first quarter. Marv?
Armstrong, yes, Nance with 12 points, hitting 6 of 10. Cavaliers on fire. They've connected on 8 of the last 9 from the field. Second quarter underway. Will Purdue just checked in. Try to do it on the drive. And back comes Ehlo. Bulls able to get back. Here's Nance. The call by Hugh Evans against the Cavaliers. It was knocked out of bounds by Cleveland.
Well, getting back to Larry Nance for a second, in the first 3 playoff games against Chicago, he averaged 14 shot attempts per game. Already, that last shot was his 11th in this basketball game. Coming in, okay, to this playoff series during the regular season, he was a 54% shooter, only 46 in the first 3 games against Chicago. So this is a much-needed lift.
Armstrong not able to hit. Nance with the rebound. Lenny Wilkins has Brandon and Ehlo in the backcourt. Nance, Williams, and Ferry up front. Ehlo tried to deliver, and the foul called on Scott Williams. That is his first.
Sometimes when you get players going at the offensive end, they become so pumped up that they give you that extra effort on the glass. Nance with the rebound to begin the fast break for the Cavaliers.
So Nance to the line. Shooting 84% from the line in the playoffs. Larry Nance, as mentioned earlier, spent 7 years with Phoenix. Came to Cleveland as part of that enormous package deal for Kevin Johnson, and he has bounced back strong from ankle surgery. He has made it all the way back. Crowd reacting to the defensive work of Danny Ferry. Shot clock at 5. Jordan, and rebounded by Brandon. The alley-oop off the mark, intended for Nance. And last touched by the Cavs.
Terrell Brandon getting caught up in the emotions of the game, trying for the spectacular pass. It's a long afternoon. Take your time, be solid, and you'll keep your minutes on the floor.
Brandon guarding Armstrong. Here's Jordan. Good play by Nance to alter that shot. It will be Chicago ball.
And even though he didn't get the block, once Jordan got to the rim and tried to finish with his left hand, there's Nance elevating, almost getting a piece. Jordan shoots it over the rim.
Bulls have missed their last 5 field goal attempts. 5-second violation. And words between Williams, Scott Williams, and John Hot Rod Williams. Well, perhaps a foul was called on the inbounds attempt. Let's see.
On the out-of-bounds play, if the foul is against, there's the action right there between Ferry and Jordan, and that could be an ejection of Danny Ferry for throwing the punches.
And that apparently is what the call was. Not a 5-second violation, but Ferry has been ejected.
And it's a good call. It's the right call by the officials. There's no question that Ferry initiated it, threw the punches. Even though Jordan started to walk back or come back towards him, it was Ferry that threw the punches. The officials got it.
Michael Jordan shooting the technical. So Danny Ferry, who had come on and played well defensively, off this sequence, getting involved with Jordan, flailing out at Jordan, has been ejected. And Jordan had the right-hand cup ready to go.
Yeah, but smart enough to hold back the punch. Michael Jordan understands what it's about, trying to get back to the NBA Finals. He doesn't help in any way by getting himself thrown out of the basketball game.
2 minutes in, second quarter. Jordan on the recovery. Brandon with the steal. And he's called for a timeout. He was trapped, in trouble, and wisely called for time. So it has been an explosive start here at the Coliseum.
There's no greater competitor than Michael Jordan. After receiving a few shots from Danny Ferry, he wants to give out a little punishment on his own. He is fired up. He drives the shoulder into Ehlo before jumping in the air and kicking it back out. That was the turnover, but look for something extra special out of Michael Jordan over the next few minutes.
Well, this is the series that some of the media in Chicago and Cleveland labeled as cream puff, marshmallow light. But it has erupted. Danny Ferry ejected, getting involved with Michael Jordan. Here's Williams, and he'll go to the line. He was fouled. Hot Rod Williams has had his trouble at the free throw line, only 10 for 17 in the playoffs. Scott Williams called for his second. So Hot Rod to the line.
And I would say that Phil Jackson, who knows his players as well as any coach knows their players, felt the emotion and the excitement in Michael Jordan, came out of that timeout and put Jordan right on the rookie, Terrell Brandon, anticipating that Jordan might force a turnover. Somehow B.J. Armstrong wound up trying to guard Craig Ehlo, who they never even got a chance to go to.
Pressure being shown by the Cavaliers. Purdue now up front with Williams and Pippen, Armstrong and Jordan in the backcourt, and Michael Jordan hearing it from the crowd. Here's Armstrong feeding Jordan, and that's an offensive foul. He pushed out with one hand.
The left arm is the arm that Jordan used to try and avoid the shot blocker, Larry Nance. That's just one other thing that shot blockers do. They change shots, they block shots, and then they force offensive players to try and create a little more space, a little more room.
Cavaliers lead by 8. They have been doing it for the most part without Mark Price. He did start despite the stomach virus, but played only a portion of the first quarter. Did hit a three-pointer, then replaced by Terrell Brandon. And kicked out by Scott Williams.
And that was Mike Sanders again on the weak side, battling for the offensive rebound that forced the ball to go off Chicago. Will give Cleveland another possession.
Now Price returns, and Brandon hears it from the crowd. Horace Grant checked back in. Daugherty. Rebounded by Grant.
Mark Price has sat out about 9 straight game minutes plus the timeouts in between.
Michael Jordan's shooting has been off in this first half. He's hit 3 of 9. Price with the pull-up. Yes! Cavaliers lead by 10. Armstrong. Rebounded by Williams. Jordan with the intercept. Jordan with the bucket. Michael Jordan converting off the interception. Cavaliers 35, the Bulls 27. Ehlo met on a switch by Grant. Ehlo for 3. Craig Ehlo with his second from downtown. He hit 3 from three-point range on Saturday. Pippen taking the return, tied up. Mark Price able to get to Scottie Pippen, and they will jump it up. Cavaliers enjoying their biggest lead of the game, and Phil Jackson has called for a timeout. 7:46 remaining in this first half. Well, prior to today's game, with the concern over the stomach virus suffered by Mark Price, people here in Cleveland were comparing the Price problem with the Cleveland Cavaliers back in 1976, losing their starting center and leading scorer, Jim Chones, for, at that time, the remainder of the playoffs. Chones fracturing a bone in his right foot, going for a rebound in practice a couple of days before the start of their 7-game series with the Boston Celtics. And there is Jim Chones out of Marquette University and on to the ABA, and then eventually with the Cavaliers, now a member of the Cleveland Cavaliers broadcast team along with Joe Tate. Celtics incidentally took that series 4-2 despite a good performance from Jones's backup, Nate Thurman. Crowd reacts as the Cavaliers get it back off the deflection. They have their biggest lead of the game. Ehlo shooting, and it's rebounded by Pippen. 7.5 to go in the first half. And the Cavaliers up by 11. A reaching foul is called. It's on John Williams. That is his first. Here comes Terrell Brandon back, replacing Craig Ehlo. Ehlo leads with 8 points. That includes 2 3-pointers.
We mentioned in the open that the combination of Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen was so important for the Bulls if they have hopes of winning a second straight championship. Right now, the two combined 5 for 14 from the floor.
B.J. Armstrong with a nice move. As you saw, Michael Jordan getting a rest. So the Bulls have a backcourt of Armstrong and Paxson with Pippen up front, along with Purdue and Grant. Cavaliers lead 38-29. Grant closing the baseline on Williams and then blocking the shot. Got a piece of it. Here comes Pippen. Nice ball movement. Open shot for Armstrong. And it's tipped home by Pippen. And Pippen with a shove at Sanders.
Well, 3 shot attempts. Again, the pull-up jump shot, 1 offensive tip rebound, and then the second one that goes back in. You cannot continue to give the Bulls those second shot opportunities.
Nice fake by Williams. Hot Rod Williams has come out strong. He has 8 points. Cavaliers 40, the Bulls 31.
And the difference that time, when he had it the first time, Grant took away Williams' right hand. That's his strong hand. That time, when Purdue rotated out, he let him go to his right hand as strength.
Oh, beautiful fadeaway by Pippen. 8 points for Scottie Pippen. Cleveland leads by 7. Now Price and Brandon in the backcourt. Williams, Sanders, Daugherty up front. Here's Daugherty. Hit by Purdue. Will Purdue called for his first. And Larry Nance checks back in. But first, a timeout is called with just under 6 minutes remaining in the first half. Cavaliers have a 7-point lead.
Coming up on the Prudential Halftime Report, we'll bring you Quinn Buckner's visit with Portland's hot shooting guard Terry Porter. The Trailblazers and Jazz are, of course, tied at 2 games apiece with Game 5 tomorrow night on NBC. And Quinn will offer his thoughts on the first half of the Bulls and the Cavs. Right now, let's go back to Richfield and rejoin Marv Albert and Mike Fratello.
All right, Bob. 5:56 remaining in this first half, and the Cavaliers with a 40-33 lead on the Bulls. The Bulls have hit 4 of their last 5 from the floor after missing 7 in a row. And Brad Daugherty to the free throw line. Brad Daugherty, who did not have a good one here on Saturday, struggling offensively here in the first half. 0 for 3 from the field, and now 3 out of 5 from the line. Brad Daugherty, a 4-time All-Star, the best passing center in the NBA. College teammate of Michael Jordan at North Carolina. Cavaliers up by 9 and now showing some pressure. Bulls have no problem with it. Michael Jordan is back. Stacey King has come on for the first time as the Bulls spread it out. Here's King going to his left. And Daugherty with the rebound.
And there again, Larry Nance waiting, going up, attempting to block the shot, distorting it.
And Nance and the open shot. That's a rare miss for Larry Nance, who is the high man with 13 points. Crowd chanting defense. Grant not able to handle the pass. And the Cavaliers get it back. Ehlo and Price now at the guards with Nance, Sanders, and Daugherty up front. So Lenny Wilkins back to the starting lineup. Daugherty being guarded by King. Stacey King has been bothered by flu problems throughout the playoffs. Here's Nance.
The reason you see Stacey King out there, once Bill Cartwright goes to the bench in the first half, Game 3, Phil Jackson left him on the bench because of that back tightening up. He doesn't want to take a chance and put him back in right now. Let him come back out second half.
Oh, what a shot by Scottie Pippen. Although you heard the reaction from the crowd. They were looking for a traveling violation. Cavaliers 42. And the Bulls 35. Game 4 of the best of 7 Eastern Conference Final. Cleveland trying to tie it at 2. Chicago seeking to take a 3-1 lead back home for game number 5 on Wednesday. Shot clock at 3. Ehlo for 3. And that is his 3rd from three-point land. Cleveland leads by 10. Cavaliers have hit 4 out of 5 from downtown. Pippen stripped by Sanders. It's a 3-on-1. Ehlo, yes, and it counts.
The play started with Mike Sanders getting that good hand in there, piece of the basketball, and then giving the ball up just at the right time to Craig Ehlo, who has the great concentration and finish, and now goes to the free throw line to try and complete the 3-point play.
Committed by Pippen. Michael Jordan joined the pursuit. I have visions of Jordan catching Xavier McDaniel in the open floor as he did in that terrific end-to-end sequence in the series against the Knicks. King followed up. Sanders with a steal, and he's fouled. Fouled by Paxson.
And right now, Mike Sanders is saying, thank goodness for that official down the floor, Eddie Rush making the call, because what happened is he got himself airborne almost, shouldn't have, and couldn't take the pass back when he wanted to. Here's the strip, the steal again by Sanders. Right now, stay on the ground, don't go up in the air. But as he starts to go up, he knows he throws a bad pass. The official with the whistle saves him.
And that foul put Chicago over the limit. Paxson's complaint is how could the official all the way down at the other end of the court, NF Rush, make that call. Paxson felt that he was screened out, and now John will sit down after picking up his 3rd, replaced by B.J. Armstrong.
Ed Rush with outstanding eyesight from down the floor. That's the answer.
And I know as a former coach, you would buy that explanation.
Coaches always have the best eyesight. They see it all.
Mike Sanders has been very significant in this first half. And he's given the Cavaliers a 50-35 lead as we come up on 3 minutes remaining, second quarter. Here's Jordan getting to step. Pippen for 3. Yes. So as Jordan drew the double team, he was able to gun it out to the open man, Scottie Pippen. And Pippen has hit his last 5 shots. He's 5 of 8 overall. He has 13. He's the high man for the Bulls. 12-point Cleveland lead. Price looking to draw the foul. It is an offensive foul.
Mark Price got the defensive player up in the air, but the defensive player is entitled to his space. He is allowed to go up and come down. Mark Price invaded his space, jumped into him, initiated the contact. Good call by the official.
Down to 15 on the shot clock. Now they say leg block, so they change it to a 24 as you take another look at that offensive foul committed by Price. 2.5 to go in the first half. Cavaliers have come up with a strong first half effort, turning it from what took place here on Saturday in Game 3 when they were blown out in the first quarter. Once again, Jordan hears it from the crowd. Good defense by the Cavs. Jordan hits the three. Michael Jordan has 12 points, and he's brought the Bulls within 9.
Tremendous recognition right now by Jordan and Pippen, who understand that they are collapsing the entire Cleveland defense once they put it on the floor. Then they're just spotting up the opposite guy, kicking it back out for the shot.
B.J. Armstrong collects his first. And the best free throw shooter in the NBA, Mark Price, will go to the foul line. Shot just under 95%. The second best free throw proficiency in the history of the league. Right behind Calvin Murphy, who was just under 96% back in 80-81. And in terms of all-time playoff free throw shooting, Mark Price is #1, followed by Hersey Hawkins of the Sixers, Calvin Murphy, and Jeff Hornacek of the Phoenix Suns. Cleveland by 11. And again, they show pressure.
2 minutes left.
Ehlo got a hand on it. Able to break it up as that developed into a 3-on-2.
And Michael, after the pass went by and sailed out of bounds, he just looked at Scottie Pippen, motioned to the floor with his hands as if to say, give me a bounce pass, and it's a dunk.
Just under 2 minutes remaining in the half. Jordan played by Nance. Yes. Michael Jordan has 14. He's 6 for 12 from the field. Cleveland up 52-43. Price looking for the screen. Now finds Williams. Offensive foul on John Williams. That is his second personal.
Grant anticipated the roll that time, made the defensive rotation across the lane, and was right there in position to pick up the offensive foul. There's Grant, there's position, and it's the knee that catches him that causes Grant to go down.
Lenny Wilkins calling for a timeout. Horace Grant being checked out by Chicago Bulls trainer Chip Schaefer. And now Phil Jackson will make a decision as to whether Grant will stay in. Well, right at the start of the game, we discussed the fact that the Bulls need a combination of both Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen to succeed. That has certainly been the case throughout this series. Thus far today, Jordan 6 for 12, 14 points. Scottie Pippen has hit his last 5. He has 13.
Yeah, and it's only the last couple minutes that these two have gotten back into the game with their team. As you mentioned a while ago, they were 5 for 14 combined from the floor.
But Mike, the problem today, they have not been contributions from other players. It has been only Jordan and Pippen. Price with the steal, so Grant able to hang in, but he was stripped by Price. Price for 3. Mark Price shooting from way out. It will be Cleveland ball. So the Cavaliers get it back on the turnover.
The one thing that Lenny Wilkins didn't like about the last shot that Mark Price took is he wants them to have some passing and moving of the basketball. Make Chicago work a little bit at the defensive end, and then he feels they'll get open shots. Don't rush down and take hurried shots.
Hot Rod Williams. And he will go to the line. Grant called for the foul.
And that time, Lenny Wilkins got exactly what he wanted out of his team. The ball came down the left sideline, was reversed back to the right, dribble penetration, kick it out with the extra pass, and then break down the Bulls' defense.
11 points for Williams. Cavaliers lead 55-43. Jordan rebounded by Ehlo. 40 seconds remaining in the half. Price and King with the rebound. Armstrong tripped up by Price.
That's his second.
BJ pushing in transition. The feet and ankles get caught up right there.
In the last 2 minutes.
BJ hits the floor.
Second committed by Price. And he's replaced by Terrell Brandon. On Price, 2 out of 4 from the field, 2 for 2 from the line, 7 points, despite the stomach virus, been able to hang in.
And Sanders returns to the Cavs.
And now Sanders returns.
For Chicago, the specialist in the game, Craig Hodges in there to try and knock down a 3 to end this first half.
Down to 20 seconds in the half. Hodges working along the sideline. Now gets to it. He's being guarded by Sanders. Down to 10 seconds. Ehlo's done a nice job on Jordan. Now Brandon slips him. Final seconds. Grant with a good hustle play to break up that Cavalier fast break.
And this Chicago Bulls team, they just keep coming at you. The good hands in here defensively. It almost gets away from him there. Almost again. And there it is. Jordan loses as Brandon comes up with the basketball.
Cleveland with its 6th steal of the half. 1 5/10 seconds remaining first half. Cavaliers by 12. Williams inbounds to Brandon. Able to get it off.
It's halftime with his goal.
So a strong first half for the Cavaliers. Mark Price able to play, scored 7, but his backcourt partner Craig Ehlo, the high man for the Cavs with 14, Larry Nance with 13, Michael Jordan with 14, and Scottie Pippen with 13. Cavaliers 55, the Bulls 43. Coming up, Bob Costas and Quinn Buckner with our Prudential halftime report.
At the half, Cleveland 55, Chicago 43, Jordan with 14, Pippen with 13. But in the category of go figure, Mark Price, feeling ill, plays only 14 minutes with the stomach virus. Check it, make it 13 minutes. He's not much of a factor. Brad Daugherty without a field goal, 4 points, all obviously on free throws, and yet everyone else takes up the slack. Ehlo hits 3 threes, 14 points. Nance 13. Hot Rod Williams 11. They're up 12 with their 2 main guns. Almost a non-factor.
Well, I'm not as surprised to see that, Bob, because you have to take into consideration, they know this is a last shot for them. This is a must game. You can't afford to go back to Chicago being down 3-1. And the thing they force Chicago to do is to play from behind. And when Chicago has to play from behind, if Michael Jordan isn't making jump shots, you got to search around for the other people. Maybe Scottie Pippen will come forth. Maybe he won't.
Okay, shifting gears. First round play open today at the French Open in Paris. Defending men's champion and #1 seed Jim Courier advanced to the second round. Among other men's seeds to advance were Guy Forget, Goran Ivanisevic, and Spain's Carlos Costa. On the women's side, 2-time French Open champion Steffi Graf was a first-round winner, as were Arantxa Sanchez-Vicario, Mary Jo Fernandez, Manuela Maleva Franieri, and Jana Novotná. You know, folks, Where's Dick Enberg when we need him? He covers this stuff. I don't. This would be Yana Novotna, as you all know. Thunderstorms forced the suspension of play, I'm so pleased, at Roland Garros, with Jennifer Capriati leading 2-1 in the third set of her opening match. They don't tell me who it was against, so I can't mispronounce that. Back on the men's side, Pete Sampras held a 2-game lead in the fifth set when the rains came. John McEnroe's opening match was postponed to tomorrow. We'll have French Open updates during halftimes of our primetime coverage of the NBA Conference Finals throughout the week as soon as we can find someone who knows how to do it. Up next, Quinn's visit with Portland's Terry Porter. That's right after this message from Prudential and a word from the NBA. There are Billie Jean King and Jimmy Connors. Nice, simple names when you need them. Tomorrow night in Portland, we'll bring you Game 5 of the Western Conference Finals with the Trailblazers and Jazz tied at 2 games apiece. For Blazers guard Terry Porter, the postseason has become a time to shine, a chance to emerge from the shadow of his more famous teammate, Clyde Drexler. Out of the obscurity of the University of Wisconsin at Stevens Point, Porter has emerged as an NBA star.
Porter for 3. Stockton right in his pocket, and he still hits it.
Witness the emergence of Terry Porter, who's become one of the NBA's best playoff performers. In his career, Porter's playoff scoring is noticeably higher than his regular season average. This year, the jump has been almost 6 points per game. And in the series versus Utah, he's hitting at just under 29 points a game.
Now he's free, sets up for 3. Porter has done it again.
You've been real determined. You've been very good. You got a hot hand. You're a little warm. How does it feel when you get into the zone?
Well, you know, being in the zone is just an unbelievable feeling. You feel like every time you touch the ball, no matter what type of shot you get up, it's going to go in. And you just feel like, hey, just give me the ball and don't matter where I'm at on the floor. To be honest with you, I don't get in too many zones. But, you know, it's nice when I do get them every now and then.
You came out of Milwaukee, you know, not a mecca of basketball. Yeah, I mean, people in Milwaukee won't go for that, but this is the facts. Yeah. Went to, you know, UW Stevens Point. What are the chances of somebody with that kind of background makes it in the NBA? Have you ever thought about that?
I really haven't, but I look back on it, you know, quite a few times and just think how amazing it is. Coming out of high school, I wasn't a McDonald's All-American or even All-State, so I didn't get a lot of big offers or anything like that. Scouts wasn't rushing down and knocking down my doorsteps or anything like that. So I was very lucky to go to a place where I felt very comfortable, not even thinking about NBA possibilities, just trying to go there and get a degree and learn a little bit about life in general.
Let's go back a long time ago. Talk about your experience at a basketball camp in Milwaukee. The Junior Bridgman camp. What do you remember most about that camp?
God, what do I remember most about that camp? So many drills is the one thing. I think we ran a lot of drills, a lot of defensive drills, a lot of shooting drills, and Junior would bring in different Bucks players at the time, and they would give their speech about maybe a specific part of the game or just about life in general. But it was just so important just to go to the camp. That was my first camp I ever went to.
I was at that camp. I talked to you about shooting. Remember that?
Shooting? Did you?
No, I'm just teasing about passing the ball. I think one of the things that I had to help you was your experience at the Olympics. You were there with John Stockton, and you didn't make the team back in '84. How did, you know, what was that experience like?
I'm thinking back to it, you know, watching so many of those guys for me on the weekends with members of my collegiate basketball team at Point, watching them on Saturday and Sunday and hearing the announcers say how great they are, and here I am going up against them. I'm like, well, God, can I even compete with these guys? Should I even be on the floor with these guys? I tried to look at them like, hey, they put their jocks on just like I do, and I just got to go out and bust my tail and compete and see what happens then, and I think that really helped me.
Now, you know, you playing against John Stockton, who is the Olympic point guard. Do you give any extra incentive just kind of because you missed it with him that year, now he's in it, and it just kind of gives you a little extra motivation at all?
No, not really. I'm kind of disappointed I wasn't on the team, but, you know, that's life, and maybe I wasn't worthy to be on that team. That's, you know, that's not for me to say, and obviously the committee did say that. But so be it. That's life. I have no problem with that, and, you know, like I said, I don't look at it as an envy. I got to get him back. I got to show the world I'm worthy of being on the Olympic team. No, it's not like that. For me, it's just doing things I have to do to help our team get to the NBA Finals.
The last 2 years, you've lost both your parents, but most recently your father. How has that affected you in your focus for the game?
as the season got going, and talked to my brothers and my sisters who are very good, and my wife, and I've just gradually come to grips with it. And I think, you know, my numbers the last month, the regular season into the playoffs, has kind of proven that I've come to grips with it, and I'm a lot more focused and determined on, you know, trying to do something for hopefully he's above this looking, can finally get an NBA ring.
Well, Terry Porter will be back at it tomorrow night. Game 5 from Portland. The Jazz and the Trailblazers starts at 9 Eastern time here on NBC. But shifting gears quickly, we literally pulled this man off the shuttle at LaGuardia. He was heading back home to the Washington, D.C. area. Your son, Danny, tossed out of the game after a skirmish with Michael Jordan. I guess you saw it on an airport TV from a distance, and now you've come back here. This is another look at it. I take it you're flabbergasted by the exchange.
Well, I tell you, Bob, I told Danny I wasn't getting enough airtime, and I needed something to talk about, and I guess he's taking care of that. But yeah, it upsets me because besides Danny, Michael Jordan's my second most favorite player. But it looks like what happened here is Danny was supposed to set a pick, and Michael Jordan got in his way, and Danny lost it. Danny is playing strictly on emotion right now. I watched the few minutes he was in there, and what he was doing was he was over-guarding his man, overreacting and everything, and that's because I think a lot of frustrations of having to play behind two great players, Larry Nance and John Williams.
And things haven't turned out for him the way he has hoped thus far in his NBA career, and with these important games being played, mostly he's on the bench, so you think that plays a role?
I think it builds up in him, and I think it's a case of he coming into the game, like I say, he's just playing too fast. Instead of letting things happen and reacting to them, he's just trying to make things happen, and he's not that type of player right now.
Yeah, I happen to agree with what you're saying. I think he's really trying to get in and get some emotional play in here. And when you've been sitting on the bench, and I've been on both sides of this thing, when you're sitting on the bench, you come in the game and you want to try to make something happen. And I think he did, and he tried to get himself through a pick. And then when Michael didn't let it happen, his emotions took over. But I've got to tell you, though that happened, I think for the Cavaliers, that's the spirit that they need to play with. I know he didn't mean to hurt Michael Jordan because they walked by each other, and Michael and he just kind of passed each other. And you can see Danny was kind of like in another zone, kind of realized I momentarily lost it. But I think from an emotional standpoint, it helped the Cavs.
Well, I think a lot of this talk about marshmallows and different things, I think it gets to all the players. And I think Danny was just motivated. It looked like he was motivated to go out there and be physical.
Now, this is the second time this year he's been thrown out. He was thrown out of a game April 2nd in Cleveland against the Clippers. He and Doc Rivers got into it, and they were both ejected. So far as we can learn, those are the only two times, this one on April 2nd, he's ever been thrown out in the NBA. Never at Duke. I assume never at DeMatha High School from Morgan Wooten.
Never at home either.
So, my question, that was going to be my question. Did you ever throw him out of the house in disgust or send him to his room?
Never. Danny's been the perfect, you know, this is, you know, he's just going to have to get playing time somewhere along the line to really get over this emotion he's playing on.
Hey, you mixed it up a little bit in the NBA with the Hawks and other teams, right? You'd go at it.
Well, I used to get into a little bit with Wilt Chamberlain, but those are the days you gave fouls. That was good strategy, and that's probably kept me in the league.
You went at it with Wilt?
Wilt Chamberlain?
Well, he never did hit me, or I never did hit him, but we did get into it a lot. It was a lot of fun.
Obviously, he never hit you because you're sitting here.
A man whose definition of fun is fighting with Wilt Chamberlain. We'll return with second half action. The Cavs lead the Bulls by 12. That's after these messages from your local station. Go back to the airport.
This has been the Prudential Halftime Report, brought to you by the companies of the Prudential. In a changing world, one thing remains rock solid: the Prudential.
In the Coliseum in Richfield, Marv Albert, Mike Fratello, Ahmad Rashad, Cavaliers with a 12-point lead on the Bulls. At halftime, Chicago with only 19 points in the second quarter. The Bulls at 45% from the field, 18 of 40. Craig Ehlo has had the hot hand, 5 of 7, and the Cavaliers have shot very well at 53%.
And the Cavaliers picking up extra points at the foul line, 13 for 16 as compared to 5 for 6 for the Bulls.
Cavalier bench has done a nice job. Don Hot Rod Williams turning it from the performance in Game 3, 4 of 5 for 11 points. Chicago, aside from Pippen and Jordan, getting very little from the rest of the supporting cast.
Is coming up with 16 free throw attempts. It shows that they are taking the ball to the basket, trying to draw contact and pick up those extra points against the Bulls defense.
Foul on Ehlo, his first. Cleveland Cavaliers had a terrific regular season, 57 and 25, finished second to Chicago. They tied for the second best record in the NBA, tied with Portland. knocked off New Jersey and Boston in the playoffs to reach this plateau. Cartwright with the open shot. Last touch by the Bulls.
Another big factor in the first half for Cleveland. They forced 11 turnovers from the Chicago Bulls. These teams are 1 and 2 in the NBA in fewest turnovers, just over 13 apiece. So 11 in the first half, very high for Chicago.
Mike Sanders hits from the outside. He has 6 points. And the Cavaliers lead by 16. It is their biggest lead of the game. Pippen setting up Jordan.
Michael Jordan.
16 points for Michael Jordan. It is Cleveland by 14. Just over 2 minutes gone by in the third. Price looking to draw the foul. Called for the traveling violation and no argument at all from Mark Price.
Well, Michael Jordan receives the pass from Scottie Pippen along the baseline and has a decision to make. Do I go up and try and lay it up or try and dunk it? Jordan decides to give it a shot, even though Nance got a piece. He still finishes.
And Grant took the push. Nance called for his second.
That is his second, team second.
Cavaliers in good shape in terms of fouls. 2 apiece on Nance, Sanders, Price, Williams, and Daugherty. For Chicago, Paxson with 3. Jordan isolated with Ehlo, goes to the crossover. Illegal defense called on the Cavaliers. And that is their first violation.
First call, that's a warning, Chicago ball.
So the Bulls get the new 24.
And it's a problem when Chicago isolates and keeps Jordan on one side and the other 4 players on the other. The tendency is for the defense to start paying so much attention to Michael, they forget their defensive assignments and where they're supposed to be.
Another Chicago turnover. Pick and roll did not work. And the Bulls get it back. Michael Jordan trying to get his club going, trying to rev it up, looking to encourage his teammates. Ehlo with a good play to knock it away, although Jordan thought he was fouled. Here's Jordan with the pull-up. Rebound Cartwright, and he is fouled.
Not only did Michael Jordan pick it up, but he went right after the official and said, look, you've got to start making those calls when they're coming over my back and knocking the ball free. It's a foul. Call it.
Foul was called on Sanders, sending Cartwright to the line for the first time. Well, Cartwright has struggled at the line the last couple of years. Cartwright has indicated that he might have an operation on his knees after the season if the pain does not go away. Right now he feels he can make it through the playoffs, withstand the pain. Also has the back problem. Hard to figure because Bill Cartwright, when he first came into the NBA, was an excellent foul shooter as a member of the New York Knicks. And he's gone the other way. Here's Paxson. A very friendly rim for John Paxson. That's only his second field goal.
That's the best example you'll ever find of getting a shooter's bounce.
And twice able to go glass. Cavaliers 61 and the Bulls 47. Ehlo lost on a pick momentarily, able to recover. Then Jordan beat him off the dribble. 18 for Jordan. Cavaliers 61 and the Bulls 49. Cartwright picks up the foul call on a reach-in.
A few moments ago, while the other 8 players were involved, Ehlo and Jordan in their own little thing under the basket. Now, if the whistle would have blown then, Jordan, who's already receiving enough boos as it is, would have heard plenty more.
Price in the backcourt. Nance, Sanders, Daugherty up front. Craig Ehlo could not hit off the spin. It's a 3-on-1. Paxson goes all the way and stopped by Nance. He thought he was fouled. No call made. Here's Price. And Pippen able to race it down. Paxson. Yes. So the Bulls are now within 10.
John Paxson said, enough of going inside, trying to get where those big guys are. I'm going to pull up and shoot my jump shot, which I know I can knock down.
Cleveland is led by as many as 16. 5 minutes gone by in the third. This is game number 4 of the best of 7 Eastern Conference Final. And that number 4 on Paxson. Timeout call by the Cavaliers. We'll be back in a moment.
And special thanks back into Cleveland.
I'm Rashad back at Richfield Coliseum, and I'm now joined by Danny Ferry. And Danny, what actually happened on your ejection from the game?
Well, I was coming around. They had the ball underneath under bounds. I was coming off a pick that Jordan was setting, and he got me in the throat, kind of, and I got a little overreacted maybe a little bit. But, you know, at the same time, I did get hit in the throat, and nothing was called with that. So, you know, it was a frustrating time as far as not getting through the pick and everything and getting the elbow. So, you know, don't know what to say, really.
Did you think you should have been thrown out of the game?
Well, the guy that called the foul, the ref that called the foul didn't throw me out. Another ref did. So, you know, I don't think I should have gotten thrown out of the game. I didn't throw a punch or anything like that. You know, I just was trying to get Jordan off me somewhat.
Your dad said you had lost your emotions. Is that the case?
I don't know. I got excited out there. It was, you know, I haven't had a lot of time, so it was fun to be out there, and I was enjoying it. You know, I did get ejected because it looked like I was going to get more opportunity to play.
All right. Thanks for joining me, Danny. Good luck to you there. All right. Back to you, Mark.
Armstrong, John Hot Rod Williams with the bucket. He'll go to the line. Pippen called for the foul. I don't know, Czar. Looked to me as if Danny did throw a punch.
Well, let's clear up a couple things. One, Danny did throw a punch. Secondly, whether or not the punch lands or it does not land, the rule is if a punch is thrown, the player is to be ejected from the game. The officials did what they were supposed to do.
And this the second time this season as Jordan fires. Second time that Ferry has been ejected. Got involved with that other television commentator, Doc Rivers.
Yes, Doc, getting a lot of airtime in the playoffs here.
Yes, Doc involved with Danny Ferry during a Clipper Cavalier game earlier this season.
And two guys who really don't come out to fight, but come out to play basketball.
Ehlo with the shot clock running down, had to throw up the desperation heave, and it is a 24-second violation. Cavaliers 63, the Bulls 51 with just under 6 minutes to go in the third.
And the one thing that Lenny Wilkins understands and fears is the fact that this Chicago Bulls team is a team of runs, a team of streaks. They can get 8 quick ones on the board. So the 12-point deficit, they can make that up very quickly. Their defense produces a lot of easy scores for them.
Jordan finding the open man. Armstrong fumbled it, and he's called for a double dribble.
He was so open that he didn't want to take the first shot. He tried to improve his position, move it up a little bit closer, and as a result, he loses the basketball right there, just loses the handle.
Bulls with their 14th turnover. Cavaliers have 8. Cleveland has led all the way. Chicago has never led. There has not been a second-half lead change in this series. The team that has jumped in front of the first quarter has gone on to the victory. Hot Rod Williams and Scottie Pippen in a physical battle, and Williams able to win that contest and then hit on the reverse.
Hot Rod was open about 4 different times, and Brandon did not know when he wanted to feed it to him. Finally, Hot Rod said, give it up there, talk to Big Brand, let him feed me to the top of the circle if you can't get it in.
Jordan with the open shot. 20 points for Michael Jordan. He's the high man for Chicago. Scottie Pippen has not scored in this third quarter at 13 and the half. Cavaliers by 12. 4:40 to go in the third. off the fake. Felt the contact from Grant. Nance rebounds, and he's fouled.
Back a moment ago when Hot Rod was down low, posting up, and Cleveland was trying to go inside. There's one look, top side. There's a front by Pippen. All of a sudden, Pippen's on the baseline, then behind. Meanwhile, Hot Rod just wants the basketball so he can do his thing, score a deuce.
Crowd responding with a foul called on Jordan. That is 3 on Jordan. $15 for Nance. 12 of the 15 coming in the first quarter. For the most part, did it with the outside shot. Grant. Kept alive by Grant. Nice feed for Pippen. And Nance with the rebound. Armstrong not going for the moves from the rookie Brandon. Here's Daugherty. And the foul charged to Ehlo.
Ehlo with the aggressive defense just doesn't move his feet quick enough. Too much hand checking there.
And the Cavaliers getting it done to this point, despite the fact that they have not received the offense from Brad Daugherty. Here's Armstrong. Daugherty is 0 for 4 from the field. He has 6 points, all from the foul line.
A nice little move by Jordan. I don't mean to pass that time. I mean, after BJ made the shot, Jordan just took his head, nodded it at BJ as if to say, that's it. You just get over there, and when you catch it, shoot it. Don't try and do too much else. You're wide open.
Shot clock down to 2. Ehlo. It has been an outstanding game for that man. Craig Ehlo in his 9th season out of Washington State. 16 for Ehlo, and he's also had to defend against Jordan. Ehlo was called for the foul. He claims he was pushed into Jordan by Cartwright.
Ehlo pointing right away, saying that Cartwright's the reason I wound up having contact with Jordan. The little shove by Bill helping him out.
And Brad Daugherty, in a heated discussion with the official, Gus Kersey, was kept away by Nance and Ehlo. Both clubs are over the foul limit. Jordan is 2 of 2 from the line. He has 21 points.
If it was Brad Daugherty, it had to be the nicest complaint that Jess Kersey's heard the entire season.
Cavaliers 69, the Bulls 57. Just under 3 minutes to go in the third. Williams getting position. Hot rod Williams. He's 7 for 8 from the field. He has 17 points.
And this is what appeared to be the strength of the Cavaliers going into this playoff series. The fact that their big front line could make the Bulls pay the price down low. They just haven't been able to go outside of Daugherty on a regular basis.
Armstrong called for a travel. The Bulls called for a timeout. Well, back at the Richfield Coliseum, I know Lenny Wilkins always been a popular guy, but this might be going a bit too far. Michael Jordan has not been a popular figure here in the Cleveland area. The Bulls with 15 turnovers. That is uncharacteristic of Chicago.
As we mentioned earlier, the top 2 teams in the NBA protecting the basketball, just over 13. And here, with more than a quarter remaining in the basketball game, Chicago up at 15. Great job of pressuring the basketball, forcing things to happen by the Cleveland defense.
2:20 remaining in this third quarter. And the Cavaliers Cavaliers lead by 14 points. Shot clock at 5. Well, Brandon getting much playing time today. Mark Price has been taken in and out of the lineup, bothered by that stomach virus. For a report on Mark Price, let's go over to Ahmad.
All right, Mark Price has left the court. He was having problems with his stomach. He's gone back in the locker room to see the doctor. He has not returned as of yet. I'll keep you posted, Mark.
All right, Ahmad. Mark Price spent all of last night at the Cleveland Clinic. We chatted with him earlier, and I must say, did not look too good and said he was not feeling well, but would give it a shot. Here's Nance. And back comes Jordan. Here's Hodges for 3. The Bulls are getting very little from everyone else aside from Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen.
Phil Jackson pulling out all the moves right now, bringing in Hodges at this point in the game, trying to get somebody that can get off and get a little run going for Chicago.
Here's Pippen. Slowed down by the presence of Ehlo, and a problem with the 24-second clock, and just Kersey blew the whistle. They had not made the transition. They had it down to 3. They were still involved with the Cleveland possession.
And as Scottie Pippen was out on front of that fast break, the pass was a little bit short, a little bit behind. If he catches it in stride, he's on his way to the basket for a dunk and 2 points. He had to step on Ehlo, but the pass behind, he fumbles it, therefore has to back it out.
Phil Jackson also upset because he felt that the Bulls had the advantage. They had the numbers in the front court, and the whistle blew because of the malfunction of the 24-second clock.
Phil just campaigning for down the road, so perhaps he gets a call somewhere else in the final minutes of the game.
Bulls with only 14 points in this third quarter make it 16. They had a 19-point second quarter.
In talking to Craig Ehlo prior to this game, he had mentioned he tries various things against Michael Jordan, and sometimes just have to be lucky. What he's been doing, going through a stretch of giving Michael the outside shot, backing off when Jordan's been facing up. So what did Michael do that time? He took the ball to him, improved his shooting position, knocked it off the glass.
Here's Brandon. And a loose ball foul on the Cavaliers. Now Scott Williams checks back in.
Hot Rod Williams.
Hot Rod Williams picking up his third foul. And the Cavaliers are over the limit, so the Bulls will go to the line. It has been a very strong game for John Hot Rod Williams. Hot Rod's still enjoying that lucrative 7-year deal that he signed last season, thanks to the offer sheet extended by the Miami Heat. Cavaliers had to match it, a reported $26.5 million over 7 years. And then to make matters worse, Williams sprained his foot back in mid-November of last season, missed 37 games. He had been a very durable player prior to that. But he's played very well right throughout this season. Levingston has come on now for Chicago. 22 seconds to go in the quarter. Grant able to hustle it down. Jordan checks the clock. 10 seconds to go. Here's Jordan, had it knocked away, recovered by Grant. And Brandon stepped out. Bulls get it back with 3/10 of a second to go in the quarter.
With 3/10 of a second now, this must be a tip non-possession shot attempt. It must be above 3/10 of a second to be able to be a possession, catch and shoot type of maneuver.
Grant guides it to Jordan. So that's the end of the third. John Hot Rod Williams, 17 points off 7 for 8 from the field. He has been the key for the Cavaliers, who after 3 lead the Bulls by 11. We'll be back after these messages and a word from your local station. the czar of the telestrator, Mike Fratello, and I'm on Rashad as we head to the fourth quarter. Low-scoring third. Bulls with 17 points. Cavaliers with 16. The NBA playoffs continuing here on NBC tomorrow night, starting at 9 Eastern time. It'll be game number 5 between Utah and Portland. In Portland, it's a big week of playoff action here on NBC. Wednesday night, the scene shifts to Chicago. Game 5 between the Cavaliers and the Bulls. Thursday night, game 6 back in Salt Lake City between Portland and Utah. Excellent exposure for the Czar in particular, with reruns going on the other networks. Just unbelievable opportunity for you.
If I ever get the opportunity, Marv, I will try to fulfill your high expectations.
Would you explain that to me? Sanders will throw in. Levingston remaining on the floor. He and Sanders are matched. There's Brandon with the shot clock running down. Brandon with the rebound. And Scott Williams able to get to it. Williams up front along with Grant and Levingston. Hodges and Jordan in the backcourt. So Phil Jackson doing some shuffling. The alley-oop did not work. Levingston cannot convert the rebound. And Daugherty pegs it down. Ehlo wide open. Craig Ehlo with his fourth, make it his third three-pointer. Cavaliers lead by 14. Here's Jordan. And a foul has been called.
The foul is on number 53, Levingston.
It's on Levingston.
Well, Chicago has certainly had an advantage on the offensive boards. They know that they're just a little bit quicker getting to the ball than Cleveland is. A 10-3 advantage in offensive rebounds at this point in the game for Chicago.
Williams bottled up. And back comes Jordan. Foul on the Cavaliers.
If you want to know why that turnover took place, it's because Cleveland has decided, even with Brandon on the floor, to let Craig Ehlo be the point guard. He's the one trying to get them into their offense, and Jordan, very aggressive, very tough against Ehlo. Hey, he's one of the best defenders on the all-defensive team in the NBA. Jordan knows that he can dominate Ehlo if Ehlo is put into that point guard role, so he gets up, gets after him, gets his hands on it, and that time forced a turnover. And that's what Chicago has to do, force some turnovers here in the fourth quarter to make their run.
Minute and a half gone by in the fourth. Cavaliers have led all the way. They've led by as many as 16. They have a 13-point lead. Here's Williams. And Grant able to get to it.
What happened that time, Craig Hodges took off and ran down the floor because he's so used to being a shooting guard, and only Michael Jordan was left in the backcourt to handle.
Livingston with the turnaround. All class. Cavaliers now lead by 11. Cliff Livingston came up very strong in the championship series against the Lakers last season. Has not seen much playing time in the playoffs to this point. It will be Chicago ball. Timeout called by Lenny Wilkins. 9:44 remaining in the fourth.
Grab presents Genuine Moments.
Today's Miller Genuine Grab, Genuine Moment takes us back 2 years right here to the Richfield Coliseum when Michael Jordan went wild, lighting up the Cavaliers for a career-high 69 points. He hit on 23 of 37 shots, along with 18 rebounds and 6 assists. The Bulls went on to win in overtime, 117-113. The 69 points, a Chicago Bulls all-time record. In recognition of this memorable moment, Miller Genuine Draft will donate $1,000 to the Thurgood Marshall Scholarship Fund. Well, Ahmad mentioned a moment ago that Mark Price had to head back to the Cleveland locker room bothered by that stomach virus. This was seen a moment ago. Standing ovation for Mark Price as he made his way back to the bench. All right, let's go to Ahmad.
All right, Marv. It was the same problem that Mark Price had in the pregame. His stomach just started acting up in him. He went back in the locker room, checked with the doctor, and now he's prepared to play.
Yes, Lenny Wilkins inserting Mark Price. He's played only 20 minutes. He's hit 3 of 6, including 1 3-pointer. 9 points for Price. And he is back on the floor, matched with Craig Hodges. Cliff Levingston with his second field goal, looking to provide a spark. And that Cavalier lead is down to 9.
It's quite apparent that what Phil Jackson's doing right now is with Pippen on the floor in place of Jordan. Scottie Pippen must create and make things happen. He's really the only scorer that can do it off the dribble. The rest of the guys will perform their roles. Offensive rebounds, spot-up shooter, and Hodges try to knock out a 3 and get after it at the defensive end and on the glass for Chicago.
So Brad Daugherty, fouled by Scott Williams, will go to the line.
Brad Daugherty shooting 2.
The sights and sounds of NBA basketball.
Well, if you couldn't see it, you sure could hear it.
But Brad Daugherty has done all his scoring from the line. He's 7 for 9 at the free throw line. 0 for 4 from the field. The Cavaliers have not been able to get the ball to Daugherty. We talked about the fact that Daugherty did a successful job in disrupting the flow as the Cavs try to feed Daugherty in game number 3. Daugherty's also an excellent passer, so if things aren't set up for him, he'll go to the pass. Levingston again.
But in fairness to Brad Daugherty, they have played with a little bit different alignment out there. They've put Daugherty at the top of the circle way more this game and put guys like Nance and Williams down low, and Hot Rod and Larry Nance have responded with 17 for Hot Rod and 15 for Nance.
Livingston jumping out, coming up with the steal. Livingston scores again. He's hit 4 out of 5. He has 8 points, and he has cut that Cavalier lead to 7. Cavaliers take a 20-second timeout. It is an unlikely member of the Bulls bringing them back here in the 4th quarter.
Well, as we mentioned, it's the quick team, the team that can cause some chaos with their defense, and then if they get out on the open floor after playing good defense, they have a chance for some easy scores offensively. Livingston on a roll right now. Cliff Levingston, when he's squared up and has his balance, can shoot the ball from 15 to 17 feet, and then no one plays with more emotion than Cliff Levingston.
Cliff Levingston, as we mentioned earlier, emerged in the playoffs last season. Did it against Detroit, did it against the Lakers. This is his 2nd year with Chicago after spending 6 years with you, matter of fact, in Atlanta.
I heard you say emerged, and I was waiting, but then you just messed it up.
Yes, I did. 8:15 remaining in this 4th quarter. And Daugherty is fouled by Williams.
Daugherty, after he missed the shot, in disgust, took his right hand and kind of punched the air. And I was a little concerned for Jess Kersey walking by, going to the scorer's table. He misses right there, and now as Kersey goes walking by, the right hand just missed Jess.
Nearly a glancing blow.
Early KO here.
Cavaliers now go with Daugherty, Nance, and Sanders up front. Price and Ehlo in the backcourt. Here's Michael Jordan making his return. Horace Grant will sit down. Grant with 7 points, but also has been the leader off the boards, 13 rebounds. Cavaliers 78. Bulls 69. Bill Jackson has Pippen up front with Livingston and Williams, Jordan and Hodges at the guards. Good play by Ehlo. Chicago will inbound with only 4 on the shot clock.
There are a number of times that Ehlo gets caught behind Michael Jordan on that little rub cut or slice cut, but if the pass is not delivered out in front, Ehlo, the great hustle, keeps chasing it and manages to get a hand on it and knock it away.
Levingston on a quick release. Jordan looking for the steal. Jordan playing with 3 fouls. And Ehlo able to hold on to the ball. Here's Daugherty. Won't count. Offensive foul on Brad Daugherty. That is his 4th personal.
It goes back to Michael Jordan putting pressure on the basketball. He makes Ehlo give it up in a hurry, and then the good rotation by Scott Williams.
This is game 4 of the best-of-7 Eastern Conference Final. Bulls with a 2-1 lead. Game 5 in Chicago Wednesday night. Scottie Pippen. Cliff Levingston once again getting to the boards. Here's Williams. Williams once again, he was stripped. Last touch by the Cavaliers, but the quick jumpers of Chicago are now controlling the offensive ball.
14 offensive rebounds for the Chicago Bulls, and now the rebounding edge, 36-27, starting to widen out for Chicago as it has done in each of these games up to this point.
22nd timeout taken by the Bulls. 7:11 remaining in this 4th quarter. Cavaliers lead at 78-69. For the Cleveland Cavaliers, it has certainly been a roller coaster playoff run. In the series against Boston, they win by 16, they lose by 31, they win by 18, and it's been a similar scenario here against the Bulls. They lose by 14. They blow out the Bulls in Chicago in game 2, and they lost by 9, although they were down 19-2. They were down 26-4 in the first quarter here on Saturday.
So what that tells us is that momentum means nothing at all.
But it's hard to get a feel for the next game. Michael Jordan getting inside. No matter what happens, you can't figure what will take place 48 hours later. The Bulls have come back. They've trailed by as many as 16. And they are now down by only 7.
And even though he has not knocked the shot down yet, Hodges still remains on the floor for Chicago. Phil Jackson just waiting for the opportunity where he could help turn this around.
Nance hit by Jordan.
Cleveland Cavaliers timeout.
And the Cavaliers take a timeout. 6:38 remaining in the 4th.
I'm Rashad back at Richfield Coliseum. I'm joined now with former Chicago Bull and current New York Knick, Charles Oakley. Charles, a lot of people think that because you stretched the Bulls to 7 games, maybe you took something out of them.
Well, there's a physical sense, but not physical aspect. I think that Cleveland got a taller guy, more shot blockers, and making Chicago really work everything inside. And, you know, Ehlo's been having a great game, and Hot Rod Williams, and Cliff just came in and gave Chicago a big lift. So we have to see where it goes. It's going to be a great series.
All right, thanks for joining us, Charles. All right, back to you, Marv.
Adelman, Larry Nance to the line. They have changed the foul call to Craig Hodges. Originally, it was indicated on Michael Jordan. So Hodges with the foul. Jordan has 3. The only other Bull in foul difficulty, actually Paxson and Scott Williams with 4 apiece. 6:35 remaining in this 4th quarter. Cavaliers lead by 9. The Bulls taking advantage of the Cleveland turnovers in this 4th quarter.
And for the game, points off turnovers, Cavaliers 24, Chicago now 19.
Hodges for 3, air ball, handled by Daugherty. Cavaliers staying with Price and Ehlo in the backcourt. Daugherty, Nance, Sanders up front. Nance feeding Daugherty. It counts and the foul. for Brad Daugherty. That is his first field goal.
And that's what Lenny Wilkins has been looking for. Rather than Daugherty being the focal point, it's Nance. Once he draws the double team, then you can get either a Daugherty or a Hot Rod Williams or a Sanders slicing to the basket. Then it's just the ability to make the pass, catch, and convert.
Foul committed by Scott Williams, his fifth, and he will sit down. Craig Hodges departs. Back to a front line of Cartwright, Pippen and Grant with Jordan and Paxson. So Phil Jackson returns to his starting lineup with 5:50 remaining in the fourth quarter. Jordan, yes, he has 29. Cavaliers 82, the Bulls 73. Jordan went down in a collision with Ehlo. Ehlo's shaken up. Ehlo's hurt. And a timeout has been called.
And Michael Jordan is also hurt. Both players after the collision. Ehlo down. Jordan bending over right now. Ehlo setting the screen along the baseline. And when Cartwright runs into Ehlo, Ehlo's head winds up banging back into Michael Jordan. Both players stunned after that collision. Watch Ehlo's head snap back. Bang into Jordan right there.
What a surprise that Bill Cartwright was involved accidentally. We'll be right back.
Let's go back to the scene of the collision a few moments ago. The baseline screen by Ehlo on Cartwright, but Cartwright runs into Ehlo, who in turn bangs heads with Michael Jordan. And from a different angle, you'll see that Michael Jordan turned his head to look away just for a moment, and that's all it takes. Both players go down. Cartwright still trying to continue play, trying to get a piece of one other guy at the end. And then Craig Ehlo trying to shake it off on the way back to the bench.
And both Ehlo and Jordan will hang in. 7 on the 24. Steal by Jordan. Michael Jordan with the steal cuts it to a 7-point Cleveland lead. They double up on Price. Chicago has 4 timeouts remaining. Cleveland with 1 left.
And Michael Jordan back on Price again. Jordan in a groove defensively, putting pressure on it, picking up some steals and deflections. Go right after Price, try and force some more turnovers.
Ehlo with a wild shot. Here's Paxson spotting up for 3. Yes! John Paxson with the 3-pointer brings the Bulls within 4.
The runs, the streaks of the Chicago Bulls, the most dangerous part of this team, that they strike so quickly and from so many places on the floor.
Here's Ehlo for 3. Nance with the rebound. 19 for Nance. Cavaliers 84. The Bulls 78.
Well, even though they only have 7 offensive rebounds for the game, that one was the biggest one of all.
We're approaching 4 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. Jordan squeezing inside. Jordan again. In that first attempt, he was bothered by Nance. 84-80 Cleveland. 33 for Jordan. Daugherty setting up on Cartwright. Nance played by Grant. Shot clock to 6. Down to 3. Sanders for 3. Mike Sanders, an unlikely player to hit from 3-point land. And a foul is called. Ehlo thought he was tripped up by Grant. Ehlo picks it up. Cavaliers have hit 6 of 9 in the 3-point department. That's 4 on Ehlo. Let's go over to Ahmad.
All right, Bob, just a few moments ago, both Ehlo and Jordan on that collision both got dazed. They were both on the ropes, but just like championship fighters, they both came right back in the game. They're fine. Jordan telling me before the game that there is no injury that would keep him out of this game. The only thing that would if he didn't have a pulse.
Armstrong. Chicago with 3 timeouts remaining. Cavaliers down to 1.
Michael Jordan coming off the bench, bleeding from the mouth after getting hit on his last drive to the basket. There he is, the towel trying to stop the bleeding a few moments ago.
This looks like the Bulls-Knicks series, the way things are going.
He's getting back to that point, yes.
And a moment ago, an enormous three-point shot by Mike Sanders, who during the course of the regular season, 1 for 3 from three-point range. In his 10-year NBA career, he had hit only 18 three-pointers. Ehlo able to break it up. So the Bulls were within 4, but by virtue of that three-point shot by Sanders, Cleveland leads by 7. 3.5 remaining in this fourth quarter. And every time Jordan touches the ball, he hears it from the crowd. He was met by a double team. He tried to squeeze through, and then was stopped.
He actually tried to initiate contact in the double team to get to the free throw line. When there was no whistle, he came back up with it, but couldn't knock it down on the second attempt.
Oh, John Hot Rod Williams and Scottie Pippen get involved in a pushing and shoving tussle.
Foul is on number 33, Scottie Pippen.
It's called on Pippen. That is his third.
Penalty situation.
And Williams to the line. He's 3 out of 4 from the line.
I'm not sure that Phil Jackson completely agrees with the call up there.
Hot Rod Williams has had his troubles at the line during the playoffs. Usually a 74% free throw shooter. Cavaliers lead 88-80.
You had mentioned earlier that Michael Jordan asserting himself a little bit more, trying to get his teammates to contribute and trying to give him that lift. He was averaging 26 shots a game in the first 3 already. With about 3 minutes remaining, he's taken 30 shots this game.
Scottie Pippen showing a blank for the second half. 13 points, all in the first half.
And let's give some credit to Mike Sanders, who has done a pretty good job on him during the game. And then when Hot Rod comes in, it's a different look. Size against him.
Daugherty with a very nifty move. And the Bulls take a timeout. Daugherty going to the drive. It is only his second field goal. Able to hit with the scoop.
With just about 2.5 minutes remaining in the basketball game, and Chicago within striking distance. The shot taken by Scottie Pippen a little bit short off the front of the rim. Cleveland comes up with the rebound, and Phil Jackson sensing that may have been the key shot here in the stretch run.
As Cavaliers with 6 consecutive points to extend the lead. Scottie Pippen 13 points, all in the first half. Nothing at all second half. Paxson, yes, and it counts. John Paxson shooting well once again. He's 5 for 7. He has 11 points.
Well, 2 bad things happen. You don't want to stop the clock, and you don't want to give up a 3-point play. Both happen on that. The clock stops, the ball goes in, and you give Paxson the opportunity to go to the free throw line and add another point on the scoreboard for the Bulls without losing any more time off the clock. 2:11 remaining in the fourth quarter.
Daugherty with the inside position, able to rebound. 8-point lead for Cleveland. And we're down to 2 minutes remaining of the fourth.
And 2 minutes remaining fourth quarter.
Nance backing. Ehlo for 3. Daugherty hustles, try to save it, but he stepped down. And it will be Chicago ball. For the game, the Bulls shooting at 43%. The Cavaliers at 47%. Here's a look at that save attempt by Daugherty. Bobby Hansen off the bench quickly, trying to get out of the way. Chicago trailing by 8. Foul called on Daugherty. That is his 5th.
Foul on Brandon Daugherty.
And it puts
His 5th.
the Cavaliers
First in the last 2 minutes.
I'll check that as their 4th team foul. So it is a non-shooting affair. And Pippen will throw in. And a 35 remaining in the 4th. Here's Jordan slicing through. What a move by Michael Jordan. Cavalier lead is now 6. 35 points for Jordan.
Daugherty just about got back in bounds before he picked up the ball that had been deflected by Michael Jordan.
Nance from Williams. What a gorgeous setup. It was Daugherty to Williams to Nance, and a timeout taken by Chicago.
When you have 3 big people up front that are 6'10", 6'11", and then 7 feet tall, and they have the ability to pass on the interior the way the Cleveland Cavaliers team does, it's such an advantage, such a plus. Unselfish basketball, the drive off the dribble pass, on the move pass, and then the dunk by Larry Nance.
So the Cavaliers looking to send the series to Chicago for Game 5 on Wednesday, tied at 2. We'll be there to bring it to you on NBC. Don't forget to be with us tomorrow night. NBA playoffs continue on NBC in prime time. It'll be Utah and Portland, 9 o'clock Eastern time. That'll be Game 5 of the Western Conference Finals. Karl Malone and the Jazz go up against Clyde Drexler and the Portland Trailblazers. Wednesday, Game 5 between Chicago and Cleveland from Chicago Stadium, and you know it will be rocking in the Windy City. And then Thursday, it'll be Portland and Utah from Salt Lake City. That'll be Thursday night also, a 9 o'clock Eastern start. And NBA on NBC going prime time beginning tomorrow night. And our coverage, of course, will continue right through the NBA Championship Series.
Each team has used up its 22nd timeout. Both have 1 full timeout remaining. Obviously, for Chicago, their concern is to get shots up as quickly as possible, get back into the defense, take the ball to the basket, and try and get the clock to stop. Cleveland needs to be concerned about the 3-point shooters for the Chicago Bulls, and Paxson, Pippen, Jordan will get behind the 3-point line, and then obviously getting the ball in and getting it up against the Chicago pressure.
Pippen tried to set Paxson up with a long-range shot. Jordan for 3. Rebounded by Grant, and a loose ball foul. It's called on Grant. The Bulls are over the foul limit. Michael Jordan, a high man of the game with 35, but did not receive much support. Pippen with 13, Paxson with 11, Levingston 8, Grant 7. Nance is now 5 of 7. From the line, here's Craig Hodges checking in, replacing Bill Cartwright. So Phil Jackson once again looking for the 3-point specialist. Although Hodges has not been able to hit this afternoon. Mike Sanders back in for Cleveland. Nance, the high man for the Cavs with 21. Ehlo with 19. Hot Rod Williams with 18. Daugherty 14 points along with 14 rebounds. Here's Hodges. And Price gets to it and is fouled by Paxson. It has been a gutsy effort from Mark Price, who has been able to hang in despite the stomach virus. Spent all night at the Cleveland Clinic. Has not seen his usual minutes. Did provide a lift early in the game by hitting a couple from outside, 1 from 3-point range. That's his 10th point. Terrell Brandon did play well in the first half when he came on. Price had to go back to the locker room, but made his return and has played a good portion of this fourth quarter. Price throwing himself at Hodges, who will go to the line.
Hodges just trying to show the ball, draw the contact, get to the line, knock these two down, and stop the clock. Give the Bulls a chance to regroup, set their press up, see if they can produce a steal or two here in the last 52 seconds.
Hodges to the line for the first time during the playoffs.
Phil Jackson almost wanted to take a timeout after the free throw by the Cavaliers, realizing that he only had one remaining. He gave his signal to the team.
Oh, look at that.
Race it up.
Hodges missing on purpose and trying to get to the rebound. And Paxson called for his 6th.
Hodges, a normal routine couple dribble guy and then shoot the basketball. Tried to catch everybody napping for a second. When he got the basketball back, he normally dribbles. Instead, he fires it right up, crosses the line, gets his own rebound. Just can't convert the lefty finger hole.
Good play. Nearly worked. So John Paxson is fouled out, leads with 11 points. Hit 5 of 7, following up on the 5 of 6 here on Saturday. Now B.J. Armstrong will check in. 42 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter. The Cavaliers lead it by the score of 96-85. 20 points for Craig Ehlo. Very strong game for Ehlo. Cleveland by 12. Here's Jordan for 3. Nance with the rebound. Standing ovation for the Cleveland Cavaliers, who are about to tie the series at 2. Mark Price with 13 points. The Cavaliers and the Bulls head back to Chicago for Game 5 Wednesday night. We'll be there starting 9 o'clock Eastern Time. That will do it. The Cavaliers over the Bulls, 99-85. Jordan with 35, but not much else from Chicago. 22 for Nance, 21 for Ehlo, Williams with 18, Daugherty with 14 along with 14 rebounds, and Mark Price with 13 points. Once again, the final, Cleveland 99 and Chicago 85. Tomorrow night, Game 5 of the Western Conference Final between Portland and Utah. The series now shifting back to Portland, tied at 2. That's tomorrow night, 9 o'clock Eastern Time. It's 4 straight nights at 9 here on NBC. Marv Albert, Mike Fratello, Rashad saying so long.